Hi, I'm Scott Campbell with Solve 3D.
And I'm Kevin Miller at Solve3D.
Kevin, sometimes when I'm running Engine, for example, if I'm running Ground Filter Pro, I want to run the function on a number of files at the same time. Now, I understand batch mode will let me do this. Can you walk us through how to use the batch mode?
Sure. So batch mode is a pretty simple concept. It applies to multiple functions inside of engines, such as Ground Filter Pro, but sampling, thinning, noise filtering, all of that good stuff, all has a batch mode capability. So once you've added your function to your operation area, here I've added the Ground Filter Pro function. By default, it's going to be on just a single file mode. You see where I select the input file here. It's just a single file. But if I want to do it on multiple files, I just click batch mode checkbox. And kind of changed up the UI a little bit here. It asks you two extra things. So it's going to ask you the LAS directory of the folder on your computer where you have the multiple files and a wildcard string. So I'll just briefly talk about what you might want to try here, depending on your use case. So in the background here, I have a folder open. I have a whole bunch of LAS files. There's a number of like 30 files in this directory or so. What I can do, say I just want to run ground filter maybe on these 4 files. These 4 files start with 5110, and then they have some other number after them. So in here, I'm going to select the LAS directory. So I'm going to select this training data folder. That's where they all are. And then by default, the wildcard string is on star.las, meaning it will run Ground Filter Pro on all of the files in this directory. But if we want to just run it on those 4 files that started with 5110, and then star being the wildcard, and then .las. So this means find anything that starts with 5110, and then anything, the star being anything, so 5110, and then underscore whatever, .las. So then it will find just those 4 files and apply ground filter. So then after this, you can just do the normal Ground Filter Pro stuff. So maybe I want to do some spacing. Maybe I do a sample size and my ground tolerance. Actually, let's make this a little higher. And I select some units by data, and I just hit execute. And execute workflow. So at this point, it's now looping through those files in the directory that match that wildcard. If for some reason you mistyped your wildcard and it didn't find any files, it will give you an error message and say couldn't find any files. Please check your wildcard string or check that. Make sure you select the right directory. But at this point, you just got to wait for it to be done. Just like any other Ground Filter Pro, it'll just take a little bit longer because it's going to run it on the one of those or each of those files sequentially until it's done. And that's it.
Okay, great. That's a really useful function. Thanks very much, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem.